ready to go.
The camera is running. We are in your hands, good sir.
All right, thank you. So is this who we've got here? Felicity, Keith, Zoe, Greg, and myself.
Yes, Heidi's an apology this afternoon.
All right.
Paul, of course, isn't in the class anymore. But Paul had heart surgery last Friday, so he's not likely to be bouncing up onto Zoom things anyway. I wouldn't have thought.
Well, I don't know what's wrong with him. How slack is that? Dear me. And Harry's still not well?
Yeah, I'll catch you up on Harry's situation later. Yeah.
All right. Okay. All right. So I had this all set up on my laptop, and then the laptop decided it wasn't going to play anymore. So give me a second. I shall bring it up.
While we're waiting for that, do we know how Paul is? Is he okay?
I haven't heard any feedback. I asked Heidi this afternoon, or messaging back and forth, if she had any updates, but I haven't heard back from her since asking that question.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Current slide. Okay. Very good.
That's where we go. Kakos, Kakon, Kaku, Kako.
Yes, that's exactly right. All right, then let's see if I can share this now. PowerPoint. Here we go. Share that and slideshow. All right, and I can see you all, so that's very good. So I thought tonight we probably should do some revision, and I'm taking my my cue from what Zoe did last Thursday. I thought it was very good, but I thought we'd add a bit this week, and we'd sort of look at how we pronounce words, a bit of breaking them into syllables, perhaps to make it easier to read. As well as reviewing the vocab and just reviewing what we did last time, which was about the nominative and accusative, the subject and the object. That's really all I want to do tonight, but it's a fair amount. So let's get through it. So that's the breaking it up in syllables is the new and helpful stuff. And a warning, I will be asking you all to participate as much as you can. So fingers at the ready to unmute yourselves. Otherwise, I will unmute you to ask you.
There's only two of us.
Yes, well, that means Keith, you and Felicity, I'm sorry, you're going to be very busy tonight.
That's okay. We can cope.
Okay.
We can cope.
Good, good. So I thought we'd start with the Greek alphabet. Now you should know this. So close your eyes and recite it for me.
Out loud?
Yes, out loud. I can't really hear those voices in your head.
You want do you want the name of the word? Like alpha, beta, gamma, delta.
Yep. And the next one.
Oh, what's that one?
Zeta.
Labna? No, I'm thinking of the wrong
Zeta.
one. Zeta. Yeah, oh yeah, you got it.
And the next one?
Eta.
Yep.
Beta. Iota.
Yep.
Iota.
Yep.
Lotta, Kappa.
Kappa. Yep.
Lambda.
Lambda. Yep.
Mu. Nu.
Xi.
Is that Z or Xi? How do you pronounce that? Z or Xi?
I pronounce it Xi just because I pronounce Phi and Chi and Psi that way, but others pronounce it Z and Phi, He, and C. So take your pick. I tend to make it a long I because it's easier for me, but native Greek speakers will tend to make that an E sound. But Xi.
Omicron.
Yep.
Pi.
Yep. And the final form of sigma, the one you see at the end of words. Yep. Then the next one.
Tau.
Yep.
Upsilon.
Yep.
Phi.
Yep.
Is it chi or chi?
No, it's chi as in lock.
Hi.
Oh, that's it. Hi.
Pi,
So.
And
psi, and
omega.
omega. Yep. Very good. All right. So that wasn't too painful. I'm impressed. That's very good. Oh, now what am I doing? All right. Moving right along. The vocab that we've had. And so I've just put this into alphabetical order, which is not the order you've been learning it. So that perhaps that randomizes it enough. Your vocab to learn and pronounce. And I'm going to break it up into syllables. All right. So I'll show you the word. Oh, sorry, the rules. Sorry, I need to talk to you about the rules of syllables. All right. This is according to Mounce in chapter 3. And so these are his rules. I think they're reasonably okay. And I haven't seen anywhere else any hard, fast rules about breaking into syllables. So we'll just go with Mounce and assume he's right. There's only one vowel or diphthong per syllable. Okay. And a single consonant goes with the following vowel if you're making it into syllables. So look at the word autos here. It's autos, not out-os, is how you pronounce that. All right. And why? Because, and this is, we break it up into its component parts. Au is a single vowel or a diphthong. In this case, it's a diphthong, right? It's AU, it's alpha upsilon au sound. So that's one part of it. There's a single tau, and then there's another syllable with an os, where the single vowel, it's got a single vowel and a letter. So, following the rules, one vowel or a diphthong can stand alone. All right, that can be a vowel, or that can be a syllable on its own. Same with os. But we have this single consonant T, tau, here, we've got to do something with it. And it, because it's a single consonant, it only attaches to the next vowel. All right, so it goes that way. It can't go backwards, it needs to go forward and attach to the next one. So that means that it's autos, not autos. Now, does that make sense?
It actually does.
Yeah. Okay. Now this is on the
Never
slide.
mind, Keith. We'll find other ways to confuse you. Just
yes, there's plenty of ways, and I was second guessing myself. So there's plenty of ways to confuse you. But anyway, all right. So this slide is brought to you by the letter alpha. Adelphos, or how do we going to break that up into syllables? Do you think?
Delphos.
So Adelphos. All right. Now the two consonants together, they go their separate ways. So the phi becomes single, and so it has to attach to the os sound. Adelphos. All right. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Yep.
Is it the same with English, basically? You know, like how you break.
It's very similar. Yeah. And Mounce says the same thing, and I wouldn't be surprised if he's cheating a bit, because he says it's very much like English. And I thought, yeah, okay, that's nice and cheap, but yep, that's good. All right, what does Adelphos mean?
Sorry, can I just ask a question? It's brother, isn't it? Brother? No, not brother.
It is. Was that your question?
No, that wasn't my question. So, sorry, just the middle, you've got the D-E-L. How do you decide that the L goes with the D and the E?
Look, Marriott is actually very silent on this, and I think he's dreadful. I'm assuming that the consonants break apart. All right, they when you got two consonants like that, they'll break apart. One will stay with the consonant before. The next one becomes a single thing, and so it has to attach to the next.
Oh, okay, right.
And
Okay,
if we didn't do it that way, and I've never thought of it this way, but I've just somehow learned how to do it without realizing I was doing it. But if we, with the last three letters, the FOSS, if we didn't take the phi and join it on to the os, then os would be a syllable that wasn't starting with a consonant. So where possible, I guess the logic is that the final syllable should still start with a consonant. I'm not sure that works with every.
No.
It does
no.
gune, logos. I mean, all the ones I can think of top of my head, that works. And the other thing is, as Chris was saying, if there are two consonants together, they don't form a double consonant kind of thing. They belong to different syllables. So the syllable break will always be between two consonants. Even when it's a new nun, I am getting my languages terribly confused now. The nun and the kappa, which becomes like an unk sound. I think technically, we've got one of these in the Lord's Prayer, one of these words. I think even though, I mean, we don't say Adelphos, we say Adelphos. But if we're wanting to break it into syllables purely for the point of working out what the sounds are, then this is useful. But we don't pronounce the hyphens or the slash marks or whatever we use to break up the syllables. So it's just Adelphos, but the syllables are Adelphos.
Yeah, with the emphasis on the last one, because that's where the accent is.
Yeah.
Adelphos. Okay, brother. All right, next one. How do we pronounce it? Yep.
Co.
Ooh.
And then or ku, and then the nu with the omega.
Yeah, omega.
Nu, akunu.
There's no nu in there.
Oh, okay, sorry.
No, you're right. It's an upsilon, is it? It's Omicron upsilon, which is a diphthong, is oo.
Upsilon, yeah, sorry. I always get the nu and the upsilon mixed up.
Yep.
When
I
Easily
thought
done.
exactly the same as well for this week. I thought
Yeah.
of an N. Okuna, I wanted to say.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, unfortunately not. It's a rounded. It's got a rounded bottom instead of a sharp, pointy one.
Yeah.
So that makes it an upsilon. Akuo. And what does akuo mean?
Wanted to say I hear, but
Well, you'd be
maybe
right.
not.
You'd be absolutely correct if you did say that.
Okay,
Yeah.
there you go.
But if you wanted to say something else, feel free. You'd just be wrong.
Acoustics, isn't it?
And so
Yeah.
I'm just noticing, having waxed eloquent about Adelphos, so the ending still started with a consonant. In many, as I had in the back of my mind a reservation, because often the ending is simply an ending, it's not a syllable. Like here, oo, the o, aku, o, there is no consonant starting that final.
That's right. Yeah.
So
but there's no consonant there anyway, so it can't.
but a vowel by itself can be a consonant. So if there's a there's a consonant there, it has to be at the beginning of a syllable.
Yeah.
You don't have to have a consonant in order to have a syllable.
No, but if there is a consonant there, it will naturally attach to the next vowel.
Yes.
All right. Keith, your turn. And it's just that first word. Don't worry about the next one. Just that first word.
Well, and then ro.
All right.
No, that's completely out. How dare you put me on the spot? Anro. Is it two? Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
What's this?
Uh,
What's the? You've got a, and then what's the middle vowel in there?
the thing.
Oh.
There. My God, that one.
The etta.
Yes, eta.
Eta, yeah.
Yep. So that's pronounced how?
I thought it was still an A sound.
It is anea. Is that
I
right?
never would have got that.
So with that,
Yeah.
because well, what looks like a V is an NU. Oh, but that's still just an N. I always think that I should be trying to pronounce the U, but no, I've got to ignore the U. It's just the name of the letter. Okay, ignore me. Thank you.
It takes ages. I still do that.
Yeah.
I still get
See,
the same
this
thing.
is the one with the pointy bottom instead of the round bottom. So this is a new and
Yeah.
and anea. And what does anea mean?
Man.
Man. Keith, do you agree?
Yeah.
You're on mute.
Yes.
You do.
Yes.
And it means man, not human. This is the
As
noun.
in mankind.
This is the noun for a masculine person.
Can I just, sorry.
You've got
Please.
anthropos, which is human. You've got aner, andros in the genitive, which is man, and you've got gune, gunes, which is woman. So we've got three different words to reflect the species called humans, and then male humans and female humans.
Sorry, can you just pronounce that again in the brackets?
Anea.
I just want to understand though, because
Mhm.
the P that is the R row, which is the
Yeah.
R sound, the
Yeah.
way that you said naya there is as if there's an extra something in there.
It's a long E. The
A long
long E sound. Anea.
Naya. Okay.
Anea. Yeah. There's an eta. Anea.
Okay. Thank you.
That's like a shampoo.
Yes. Yes.
So eta, so when we're thinking about the letter eta, it's the long form of epsilon. It's a long E, and it's a sound that we do have in English, but to our ears, it often sounds more like an A, but it's that elongated E. So E, A kind of sound. So aner. If I was writing that in English letters, I'd put ANEER.
Okay. Right. Thank you. That makes a difference.
I've heard it sounded out as almost like our word air, the air that we breathe. It's that a sound of
Yeah.
air, or even bear, BEA. It's
And
that sort of long E.
Yeah.
If that helps.
Thank you.
All right. So the letter beta. All right. What about this one? You're on mute, Keith.
Basileia. I'm
Okay.
putting myself on mute because of the sound problem we had. I keep forgetting to put it back on. Yeah, it's in three, I think. So Basileia.
Basilea. Yep.
Oh, nearly.
Yep. No, you're right. Basilea. And what does it mean?
Kingdom, isn't it? The kingdom. Yes, kingdom.
Kingdom. Yep. And this one here, Felicia, is another one of those eta sounds.
So would be what? Gay,
Yeah, yeah.
and then
And then
gaze.
Gaze is the
Gaze.
genitive form of that. And then hey, so gay. And what does it mean?
It means how do you know this? Earth.
Yep, Earth. Very good.
It's the GE of geology and geography and geolocation devices.
Oh,
Right. Yep. Okay, and then this one.
gin. No. Gi. No. Nu. Gi. Nu. May I?
Yeah.
Gi. Nu. May I?
.com.
Guy. Nu. May I? Guy. Nu. May I? No. Maybe not.
This is where I think Mounce's rules are not always correct. I have always said that as ginomai, and I could understand it might actually be gnomai, but actually the accent's on the first
On the
syllable.
first one, yes.
So I've always said this as ginomai, which is to become, I become. But gnomai, that's the logic of Mounce's rule. So the MAI is just the mai sound because you've got a diphthong at the end. But whether it's ginomai or gnomai, if you say it
Yeah.
fast, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I know this as Ginomai. Because otherwise the accent would be on the O, and I don't think that makes a lot of sense. But I must admit, my rules of accentuation in my head are not particularly clear. So I know it because I know that's where the accent is on Ginomai. But there it is broken up, Ginomai. And do we know what it means?
Yeah, Greg just told us I become.
Oh, sorry.
Is that what you said, Greg?
Sorry, that was just my partner, Ray. He's just having some issues with a telephone company. So, all right, Delta. What about this one?
Did on me?
Yes,
Did of me? Oh,
Did.
it's long O. Oh, did
Yes.
oh me.
me. Yep. Felicity, you agree?
Yeah.
All right. And what does it mean?
Give.
Give.
Yes. Excellent. And this one?
Mean.
Duo.
Duo. Yep.
Du-
And what does that mean?
Two.
Two.
And I guess strictly speaking, it's duo. But
Duo,
we
yes.
actually know this word in it because we nicked it off the Greeks. We have duopoly and all kinds of things, but and duo.
Yes, actually, it's true. It's duo.
So we say duo, or sorry, duo. We're not Americans, but actually in Greek it's duo.
Duo.
Duo. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, Omicron, isn't it? It's like off.
Short, yes, a short O. And that was a yeah.
Duo.
All right.
Tricky because sometimes these are words we actually have the word in English as well, but we're looking at it in its Greek form, and so we try to do it in the Greek form. Yeah.
I know this one because it's my sister's name. Well, Amy. It sounds like Amy.
Amy. Yep. Yep. And what does it mean?
I something. I am.
I am. Excellent. Felicity, do you agree?
I do.
You do, are you sure?
Yes.
All right. Yeah, I'll put those up. Because there's 3 words there. And they all mean the same thing, except one's masculine, one's feminine, and one's neuter.
So do you only use one of those ones? One of those ones in a
Yes, very good. Yes, it is.
Good pun.
There's 3 ones. Yes.
yeah.
Yeah. So numbers like this are kind of adjective. All right. They so like adjectives, they modify a noun and they must agree with the noun. All right. So if we're talking about one kingdom, Basileia, which is feminine, we'd have to say Mia Basileia, one kingdom, because Hace is masculine. If we were talking about one man, Aner, we'd have to say Hace Aner, because Hace is masculine and Aner is masculine, and so they've got to agree. Does that make sense?
Well,
No?
I'm listening to you saying it.
Yes,
So you said the first pronunciation was Hace?
Hace. Can you see it's got a rough breathing on it?
Yes. Okay.
Yep. And it's
Yep.
important that, and this one looks like another Greek word that you're going to meet in a couple of weeks, which is ace, and it has a smooth breathing on it. So it's important to differentiate those because they actually mean two quite different things. Ace is masculine one, but ace is a preposition that means into. All right, so Hace Aner, Mia Basileia, and if we think back to that video about the definite article, we had ho aner, hegune, and to probaton, sheep. And probaton is neuter, so we would say hen probaton, one sheep. And the silence is deafening.
No, that's fine. I was just thinking about. I suppose because the word sheep is so, it's not neither feminine nor masculine, so it would be, yeah, okay. Just trying to think of other animal names and whether it would be the same, but I guess.
Yeah, no, it's probably not helpful to think that way. Just sheep.
Yeah.
Grammatically, it's neuter.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just the way it is.
Even though there are boy sheep and girl sheep, sheep is a neuter noun. But if we go to something like pneuma, you'd have hen pneuma, one spirit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because spirit in Greek is feminine. Is neuter. Yeah.
Had me worried for
Hebrew, it's feminine. Oh, we're not going to have that conversation again that we had last time. Anyway, letter brought to you by the letter eta. So, what are we going to make of this?
Emera.
And what breathing has it got on it?
Rough.
So it will be
Hemera.
Hemera. Hermera. Hermera. Hemera. All right. Theta? Felicity. What do you make of this one?
The os? Oh, no. Hang on.
It's a short E. So
Say.
Fe.
Os.
Theos. Yep.
Os.
Theos. What does it mean?
God, is it? God?
God.
God.
Yeah.
God. Yeah.
Okay. Lambda. Yeah, go. Keith using
What are you asking me? You're asking me what it is in English.
Well, all of it. How do you pronounce it?
Laos.
Laos. It's a short A. Laos.
There's people.
The people. Yep. Okay.
Is it people or the people? I always get confused with this.
No, it's just people. There's no definite article with that. Well,
Oh, it's because of the ho. That's why I'm thinking the people. Okay.
all
Because of
right.
that. Yeah, okay. Now I know why I'm confused.
Remember, this ha is just an indication that it's a masculine noun. Yeah. And it's a masculine nominative definite article, the. But without a definite article, it just means a people. What about this one?
Oikos.
Oikos.
Something the
Felicity?
British are good for is oi.
Yes. Felicity, you agree? What's that?
Did you say huikos? I know it's house, but the O and the I,
Our diphthong?
because of those markings, is
Yeah. So what are these markings?
one is the rough breathing. Is that what you called it? Hard breathing?
It's a smooth breathing, isn't it? So
smooth.
it's different from.
Well, you've got the hard breathing on hop.
Oh yeah, we do. I don't need to. Yeah. See here, this is a rough breathing here. Off.
Right, that's it. I had
This
it
one's
wrong way.
going the other way. So this is what? A smooth breathing?
The other one's pronounced. You give more emphasis on that letter.
That's just an accent. It's on the second of those two letters because those two letters go together. They're a diphthong. All right, that's why they're above the I instead the iota instead of the omicron. So it's an indication that they are a diphthong. They go together. So it's oikos.
From
So
which
the I pronounced E in a way.
No, this is omicron and iota together, just like English oi.
Yeah, oi.
All right, because
You're saying hui. You're saying hui. Are you?
no oi oikos.
Oh, I must have misheard you then. I thought you said
Sorry,
that's
yeah, oikos.
if it helps
Oikos.
with memorization, oikos is that's the Greek word from which we get ecumenical. Because that the oikomen is the household. So the oikos, oikomen, where we get the words like ecumenical and the
Economy,
council of churches, all that sort of stuff.
oikonomia, economy.
Economy as well, yes.
Yeah, the things we have in common, really, because we're all in the one house. All right, what about this one? Teeth.
Right. Oh,
Sounds good. Say it again.
I'm getting confused. That is a rough breathing, isn't it? Yeah.
It is.
So
Yep.
ho ra o
Yeah. Horao.
hora o.
Yeah.
Typical
Felicity.
Australian. Say it up.
Horao. Felicity, do you see it?
Yeah, so hora o or ho are you saying? Are you pronouncing like a kind of H in there or
No.
hora o?
Horao. Sorry. Horao. Horao.
There's a H in the beginning. Ho.
Yeah. Hot. Ra.
And then omega o at the
Yeah.
end.
So think of a word like horoscope.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In horoscope is looking.
These are three. This is this is a bit like Esmere hen. There's three forms of the same word. One's masculine, one's feminine, and one's neuter. Because again, this is a bit like an adjective, so it must agree with the noun that it goes with. So what do you reckon?
Pass, pa, sa,
Yep.
tan. Pass, pass,
Pan
tan.
and pan. Pan.
No, yeah, no.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you're right. Pan.
Pass, pass, saturn, tan.
Not tan. It's the same letter as starts the other ones. So if it's pass, passa, what was the last one needs to be?
Pan.
Did I say tan?
Yeah.
Pass. Sorry,
Sorry, it sounded like you
Pass.
said tan.
pan.
But no,
I
you
meant
may
to
not
say
have done.
pan.
It might
I know
just be
P.
yeah, it's a P. Sorry, it sounded a bit like that. So maybe it's just my headphones. Yeah, pass, passa, pan. All or every, is it?
Everything.
Sorry, everything.
You know, I remember this one so well because when I learned it, I
Yeah.
thought, why would you have such a complicated long word just to say all? And I thought, why? Who came up with that, you know?
Well,
Yeah.
the Greeks did.
Yeah, and we know it. I find it helpful in learning vocab to think of other English words that are derived from it. So one is pantechnion, which is when you're moving and they come with a big truck. It's called a pantechnion because everything goes in that truck. Can hold everything in your house. So it's called a pantechnion.
Hmm.
I'm sure there are others. I guess so. Words like panoramic, probably.
Yep.
Panorama, which is seeing everything. Horao and panorama, everything being seen on the screen at the one time. Panoramic. So I find it helpful when I look at a word to see, what English word have we built out of that Greek word? Because lots of our English words, well, they either come from Greek, Latin, or French, basically. That's where English is mostly derived from, I think. Lots of Greek.
All right.
Isn't it good when the data breaks our own rules? Two consonants can't go together.
Except when they do.
Except when they do.
There are some in Greek where the consonants actually do go together, and yeah, and it should be pronounced together. But and I don't know what would happen if we saw that in the middle of a word, because we'd have to break it up according to the rules. But it sort of makes sense. But anyway, how are we going to pronounce this?
Pnew,
Yep.
ma,
Very good. Put them together quickly, and it becomes
pneuma.
pneuma, which means what?
I was going to say air, but it's wind, isn't it?
Yep, wind, breath, spirit, or the breath of God, which animates everything, the wind that blows where it will, or the spirit that animates the church. All of those things are pneuma. And you can see the accent on the upsilon here, which is an upsilon because it's got a round bottom. And the E and the epsilon and the upsilon go together to make an U sound. Pneu, pneuma.
The query, Chris, is it actually pneuma or is it just pneuma with a
No, well,
silent P?
no.
Like psychology and psychotic is a silent P.
Well, only in English, as far as I know. So when we're pronouncing, I mean, this is the way that that I learned these things. When you have consonants, even when they go together like that, you still pronounce the two of them together. So it's pneuma, not pneuma,
Right.
and psuche, not suke, for soul.
I have probably I have certainly developed bad habits over the years.
Yeah, well, because pneuma, wind, breath, is the words that we get our word pneumatic from, as in pneumatic tires and other things that are pneumatic, air operated by air. So, but in when we're pronouncing this in Koine or classical, it would be pneuma. So you're quite right, Felicity.
Great.
Now, what is this one? Keith?
Poieo.
Yep. And run it together.
Poieo.
Poieo. And what does it mean? What do you make of that? Come on, you can do it.
In my moment to look it up.
Exactly
I
right. I
do.
can't master everything.
I
Felicity,
do. I do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do make. I've always struggled with this one though, and that's why he's doing it.
He gave us a hint. He said the words, "What do you make of that?"
Well, what are you going
Straight
to
over
do
my
with it?
head.
Yes. Oh dear. Dear. Yeah. All right. And here's an upsilon with its round bottom. Now, Felicity, what are you going to make of this? Now look at the breathing mark over here. What's this?
Huios.
Huios. Hui. Yeah, very good. Huios.
Huios.
Huios. And what does it mean?
Sun.
Sun. Very good. As in S-O-N, not S-U-N. So, son, the son of Mary. All right. And here's that letter, the cha, that loch sound, the chi.
Christos.
Yep.
So Christos.
Christos,
Christ. The Christ.
the Christ. Yep. The anointed one. Okay. And that's it.
If we can just stay on Christos for a moment, one of the puzzles with translating a word like that, which we've borrowed into English, but we've borrowed it as a proper name, Christ. But in Greek, it simply means the anointed. So when you're translating the Greek New Testament, do you say Jesus Christ or do you say Jesus the anointed?
I would say the anointed, if that's what it is, because that makes more sense, doesn't it?
Well, I agree with you, but most English Bibles don't. They always translate Christos with Christ with a capital C, basically, because it has perhaps become a title. But if you think back to Mark chapter 1, beginning of the gospel of Jesus Christos, Huios Theos, Jesus the anointed, the Son of God, that's actually a straight political statement in the ancient Roman Empire. Okay, it's saying this is the one who's anointed, chosen to be the emperor, because the emperor was the Son of God. And even the word gospel is the word, euangelion is the word for a government proclamation announcing an important thing from the government. So Mark is using political language, but we've not only domesticated it, we've sort of theologized it over the centuries. So Jesu Christos has become, in other words, Jesus is a final S there, but Jesu Christos, we've got two different declensions playing nicely together. In a more scholarly translation would be Jesus the anointed, but in a regular English translation, it's Jesus Christ as a double name. And we've lost a little bit in the translation, I think, when that happens, which is why we learn biblical languages, so we can read behind the Bible translation.
What language, Greg, was the New Testament first written in?
Greek.
Oh, it was Greek. I thought it was something else.
No.
thought it
There are arguments that were certain. That's the kind of Greek we have in Mark's Gospel, for example, is not translation Greek. It's not a Hebrew or Aramaic document being translated into Greek, because you'd be able to see that in the rhythms of the language. So whoever wrote Matthew, Mark, Luke, John, whatever, Paul's letters were all written in Greek. He's writing to Greek people in Corinth who were not known for their Hebrew pronunciation. They were known for other things in Corinth, like King's Cross. He's writing to the Christians in Rome, in Ephesus, Galatia, whatever, Thessalonica. He's writing in Greek, everyday marketplace Greek, not very fancy. Some scholars who want to say that Matthew is the first gospel, simply because it's first in the New Testament, argue that it was written in Hebrew by Matthew and then somebody translated it into Greek. But actually, Matthew is a rip-off of Mark. And it's just a revised and expanded edition of Mark's Gospel. So it just doesn't work for Matthew to have been originally written in Hebrew, although that may still be the official position of the Pontifical Biblical Institute in Rome. I think even they have stepped back from that argument in the last couple of decades. So the New Testament was originally written in Koine Greek, some bits better than others in terms of quality of the Greek, which is what Mark's Greek is pretty awful. Greek in the book of Revelation is absolutely terrible, barely coherent. Luke's Greek is the best Greek in the New Testament.
There's also a lot of research in recent years that goes into looking how that the texts were written, but they were designed to be performed rather than just read, and they weren't transmitted in the way that we have print media. And so people absorbing them would have first encountered them and responded to them as some kind of recitation, orator, presentation, performance kind of thing. So it also questions, because it's an oral culture, our reliance or how much we critique grammar and punctuation and things, what roles those actually have to play. So
particularly punctuation. Remember, there were no gaps between the words. Was either all in capitals or all in lowercase. There was no punctuation. There were no accent marks. So when Phoebe, the deacon in Romans 16, is sent to Rome, and her job is to perform the letter to the Romans, she does have a copy of it, so they can check that she's not just making it up. But she didn't come with 25 photocopies of the book of Romans and hand it around to everybody in the church meeting.
Terribly inefficient. Why didn't she do that?
She stood up at the front as a woman in church, interestingly, okay, and she proclaimed the letter of Paul to the Church of God in Rome.
What's it called? Scripto Continua?
That's when you don't, not when you're performing it, but the manuscripts, both Hebrew and Greek, were Scripta Continua. There were no gaps. And when it got to the end of the line, it just continued on the next line. There was no. Now, we have seen in some of the ancient manuscripts we've looked at, particularly Sinaiticus, when they got to the end of the line, at least by the 4th century, a highly trained scribe put a little horizontal line above to say these two letters belong with the next couple of letters. Okay, but depending how big the hand was, you wouldn't have the line break in the same place. So so it's we're living in an oral culture, so much so that Irenaeus, Ignatius, early in the 2nd century, Bishop of Antioch, Antakya, we heard it on the news recently with their terrible earthquake. one of the first bishops of Antioch, he famously said, "Don't talk to me about your books. I'm not interested in the books. I'm interested in the living logos, the oral tradition." Because he said books can be adjusted, which is interesting. We have the opposite point of view. He said, "I don't trust written books. People can manipulate the text. I depend on the living word, the logos, the logoi." So yeah, totally different culture. And we're so obsessed with getting the words right and the grammar right and the punctuation correct, when that was all handled by the performer. Like the person playing a musical score, they decided when to have a crescendo and when to go gentle and when to be loud. That was all in the performance art. Most of that is, we can't pick it up by looking at the text.
Yeah.
Except for Zoe, who's picking her way through Hosea, isn't it?
Yeah.
And trying to do exactly that. Yeah.
Oh, I'm doing my methodology chapter this semester.
Wow, very
Still
good.
a little twitch.
Very good. And look, a couple of years ago, with all of that in mind, I actually translated the first chapter of Mark's, if you can see that, of Mark's Gospel, because it intrigues me. When you read Mark in Greek, it's very much a performative thing. It's written. There's a lot of it written in the present tense, and it's you can just, if you read it, you can hear these different voices and the different. You had a person performing it. If any of you remember or might have seen, you have someone perform something and it's just one person they're narrating, but at the same time they hop around stage a bit because they take on the persona of the person that they're up to in the point. So it might be, you might stand there and talk about an intro, and then you'll hop over to the side because this character has just made an entrance and you're now this person delivering those lines. And then you hop over to the other side and be the other person that those lines are delivered to provide a response. And actually do that very much with Mark's Gospel. So Greg, I'll send you a copy of that. Maybe we'll put it up for what it's worth.
Yeah, sure. Yeah,
and
there's a very similar thing in the early chapters of Romans, which are quite difficult to make sense of. I think it's chapter 2, chapter 3, but it's in more recent scholarship, I'm talking 20 years ago, people have seen it as a sort of Greek diatribe, and there's a line by Paul, then a line which Paul has written as what he thinks the person might say back to him. And he says, no. And Paul's point of view. Then he gives the opposite point of view from the respondent. Then he gives his point of view. And we miss that entirely if we just read it as a flat piece of text from Paul.
Yeah.
Now that wasn't called performance criticism 20 years ago. It was just trying to get into the Greek genre of say a diatribe. I think that's the genre. Anyway.
All right. Now it's 5 o'clock already. If you indulge me for another 5 minutes. All right. So it's just revising about sentences. All right. So every sentence, if you remember, every sentence has what? A verb and what?
Was it consonant?
And
Noun? Vowel?
a subject.
Subject, of course.
All right. The thing or
Like
the
that
person.
example of Jesus wept. Jesus, subject, he did the action of.
Yeah, the shortest verse in the Bible, apparently. And the subject of the sentence is the actor. All right. In what case is the actor or the subject of a sentence? You remember, Felicity. No?
Is it like the nominative, accusative?
Accusative. Yes,
Yeah.
that's what we're talking about. It's the nominative case.
Okay.
All right. All right. Now, here's a test. If do you know, with just going line by line, which ones are in the nominative case? Do you recognize any of them? I'm getting a bit late and tired, so you might not. But
Logos,
Logos is one.
oikos,
Oikos is one. And what about on the same line as Logos? Is Basileia one? Yes, it is. And Oikos, I'm sorry, I don't have much control over the order in which these pop up. There's one more.
Andros, sorry.
No, that looks like one, but it isn't. Andros is actually the genitive of aner. So there's one more.
Is it oiko? Oiku? No.
Con? No. That's
No.
Christon.
no.
We're running out of options, people.
Gay. All right.
Okay,
But
sorry,
each
can
of
I
those
just,
words, sorry. Felicity.
so the one you just circled is feminine.
Yes.
The one to the right of it is feminine. The one over to the right, oikos, that's masculine, is it?
Oikos is masculine. Aner
But
is
I thought masculine had to have a marking over the O.
no. That's not an
Okay,
indicator
okay.
of gender.
Okay.
Oikos is in the second declension, and it's masculine. It has an O Omicron sigma ending.
Okay. Yeah.
All right.
If you're
Aner,
looking at the definite article, yes, oikos would have hot in front of it.
Yep.
Here we're just looking at the case ending of the noun. We're not looking at the article.
Yep. Okay.
and aner is also masculine. Even though it's got an eta, if there's a row on the end, it's aner is masculine. Logos is another one of those ones like oikos.
Yep.
And Basileia, what gender do you think Basileia is?
Feminine?
Feminine, yeah, because it has an alpha ending. There's an
Yeah.
eta ending here. Now, I have, Greg's posted a sheet or that I did that has a whole list of first, second, and third declension nouns on it. They weren't for learning, but they're just to give you ideas of patterns within nouns. All right. And I know we're getting late, so
Yeah.
just quickly, can you read the top line? Not top line, the top Greek line.
Orchiensis acu
Yep.
On
QA.
Lanon. Leon. Leon?
On laon.
Laon.
Yep. Do you recognize which of those is the nominative, the subject?
Yeah, the object Leon.
The subject. So the nominated case.
Is it the second word?
Yes. So this,
That O denoting the next
Oh.
word.
and actually, look at that.
I missed it earlier as well. I've just
Yeah. Just looking at that. Sorry, that breathing is wrong. It should be around the other way.
read that as hot Jesus.
Hot Jesus and hot Laos. All right. So I'm not going to labour that. Yeah, there it is. In the third line, it's actually right. Hot Laos. So it should be hot Jesus, and so on. It's Jesus seeing Peter again. Look, I'm not going to go through all of this. This was just to introduce the model prayer, which Greg's going to do on Thursday anyway. So that's Matthew 6:9. That's the Lord's Prayer. And that's just a point about breaking up that the syllables. And that's, yeah. So in Greek, it's pater hemon ho entois uranois, hagiasteto to onomasu, eltheto he basileasu, genetheto to thelemasu, hos en urano kai epiges. Von aton hemon ton epiousion, dos hemin semeron, kai aphes heminta ophelemata hemon, hos kai hemes affectamen tuis apheletais hemon, kai mees enenkes emas esperasmon, ala rusai hemas apotu poneru. And all of which will be very familiar to you.